freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
With me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the beautiful studios of Freedom's with an S, freedomsphoenix.com, where we're just going to go over some of the headlines on Freedom's Phoenix today. Oh, man, there's so much stuff going on. I tell you, it's just, damn. Because it's just so, I can hardly get through. I know how it is. A lot of people, we were at the meeting, the economic discussion group last night, and a lot of the people, read Freedom's Phoenix a lot, and they're just going, man, I can't get off. It's after you read Freedom's Phoenix, where else do you need to go? Because a lot of it's oriented towards the finances and technology and a lot of things. You go anywhere that you normally get news, and heck, I already read all this on Freedom's Phoenix, and it's because it's just a different orientation. We're looking for the things that I would think would be of interest to us all. Well, one of the things I wanted to point out, we'll get to the drug thing. Well, let's go ahead and finish up on that because, I don't want to segue off to something else. But what's going on is there it goes. The Arizona universities, they're interviewing students and they're saying, look, man, I smoke whenever I want. 25-year-old Lessard said simply he has had his medical card for 6 months. And he's talking about in California that while they still prohibit usage on campus, got to be official, by get their federal funding and so on. The kids are kind of, the young adults, they're going, look, man, it's all good. So I'm wondering how this is really being enforced. Now, of course, the reason is that medical patients are being discriminated against, he says. Everyone else has a social pass for their respective drugs. Now, of course, they're talking about prescription drugs and different things. And for some reason, you can't get medical marijuana as a prescription drug because it competes. You can do it yourself, and it's effective for a lot of things. I can see the pharmaceutical industry is invading here in Arizona. Let me tell you how this is working. They just passed an initiative that, it's a long story, but bottom line it comes down to this. The pharmaceutical industry had a lot to do with this. And the reason it passed and how they're behind it and all this is because it created an enormous hurdle for you to get over in order for you to legally grow, distribute, have available, buy, whatever, medical marijuana. Here it is. The bottom line is that you have to buy the land, grow the crop, process the crop, and have retail outlets before you can distribute medical marijuana. Now, how many people are going to do? None. It's a pharmaceutical industry corporate welfare program. And they're gearing up. Here we go. How long would this hold out? I don't know. But that's really what's going on here. Now, the difference, this is what the Arizona State University is saying. The difference, however, is that marijuana is still a controlled substance under federal law. Terry Schaefer in the Office of Public Affairs at Arizona State University said that in order to continue receiving federal funding, including federal financial aid funds, the university must be in compliance. Schools in California, Arizona, and other states legalizing medical marijuana have received statements from the federal government informing them that the law will continue to be enforced, Schaefer said. So, should we have all our students lose their scholarships, she asked. So it always comes down to money. Okay, yeah, what do you think was going to happen? And this is happening at every level of society. Where's the motivation behind this? Who is the people? And what happens as, we just grow our way out of this? The younger become prominent citizens and influential members in politics, community, business. It's already happening. So where do we go from here? How does this come out? I don't know. But it's permeating every part of society, and it's so corrupt, and it's filling our prisons, it's costing money, and they don't have it. So I don't know where this goes, but it's definitely going to be, were you enlightened before enlightened was cool? We'll see. There was a gentleman that we had on the show that I met in Philadelphia that when I went and spoke at Fedstock, there was an anti-war demonstration in front of Lockheed Martin where they had some older people, they did a presentation. It was Good Friday and so on, and, give peace a chance kind of thing. Then they walked on, all these cops are everywhere, and they arrested the 94-year-old woman, put her in the van. Okay? So while we were there was a gentleman, his name was Mark how do you say it? Fiorino. Fiorino. Mark Fiorino. He was a gentleman. I believe that was him, right, Sierra, that we had on? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, came on the show, and he had created meetups that they were training themselves on being able to survive a lot of things. I mean, what are you going to do about water? What are you going to do about shelter? What are you going to do about it's too hot, it's too cold, food? Their children understand what, the pets and medicine, all these things. He's a volunteer fireman, and he's, they go through this. We had him on the show. He's in the news there. Man who clashed with cops over legal gun was also armed with audio recorder. Oh, they didn't like that none too much. So having talked to him, I know that he understood the law. And they had a confrontation there with the police there. They started their thing. And, no, that was Fernando Saguero. Okay, I was close. Mark Fiorino. Where did I know that name from? Oh, that's similar to the guy that does the WTF, mate. The Flash animation that Donna's so fond of. Yeah, well, go ahead and find that. You know what I'm talking about? We'll put that up. We'll play that, because that's, that's fun. Anyway, that's what I was thinking why it was so familiar to me. Now, we have Fernando on. Now, Fernando, the same kind of situation that happened with this Mark Fiorino. And what he had done is he's 25. He's in AutoZone in Northeast Philly, and he has this .40 caliber Glock that he legally owns, holstered in plain view on his left hip as he's, walking around, which is legal there. Yo, Junior, what are you doing? Somebody says. Mark turns around and he sees Sergeant Michael Doherty aiming a handgun at him. He is drawn down on him. We're going to teach this boy a lesson. And you would think that they would know, but it was obvious to me when I saw Fernando at this Lockheed Martin thing, he was schooling him. And he didn't say anything. And he's being videotaped. Everybody's got their video cameras on him. And later I talked to the lieutenant, and I'm going, what was the initial reason you even talked to him? I don't understand. We went into a back and forth conversation, and basically he said, yeah, well, Fernando knew exactly what to say and what not to say. But if they wanted to get him, and he told me, he came right out and he said this. He goes, well, when we run in these situations in the past, it was amazing that he, shared this with me, the law enforcement officer. He goes, when we want to get these guys, they do this, and they don't have to talk, we don't have to talk to you, and it's legal, and blah, blah, blah. We wait until they get into their car. Once they close the door, it's a concealed weapon, and we can arrest them. I go, seriously? How do they leave? And he goes, well, they have to take it out, unload it, put it in their trunk, then get in their car and leave. And I go, wow, you guys are amazing. We're going to finish this story with Mark when we come back in just a little bit.